Welcome all sports fans, YouTubers, Facebookers, all social media across the nation. This is Uneducated Sports Talk. I'm your host, Clayton. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to both Uneducated Network and Uneducated Sports Talk. Both shows on YouTube, both channels on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. That being said, we are here to recap Week 5 of a great NFL season so far. So let's get down into it. The first game on the docket was the Colts visiting the New England Patriots. And we had the Patriots winning this game. And of course they came out and won the game 38-24. Tom Brady gets his stars back, Julian Edelman. He finally has Josh Gordon, who's kind of, getting into the scheme of things with the Patriots. And when he's on, this team will be very dynamic back on offense again. Gronkowski. So they have things going on. Their defense looked pretty good. Andrew did have another pretty good game as well. But the Colts just aren't any match for the Patriots, who have now won 2 in a row after the sky was falling just in Week 3. So pump your brakes on the Patriots, they'll be just fine. That being said, the Colts, I don't know. You go from a crazy call in the overtime against the Texans to lose this game, and now everyone's ready to basically jump off the bandwagon of the Colts, if there was ever a bandwagon after Peyton Manning left. So Broncos at the Jets. We picked the Jets to win this game. It was one of our mild upsets, and guess what? The Jets came through by a score of 34-16, and they did it in a big way. Isaiah Crowell, Bilal Powell, those guys combined for just about over 300 yards rushing. It was crazy. Isaiah Crowell with 219 rushing yards by himself. If you have him on fantasy, out of just pure desperation, well, guess what? He came in a big way for fantasy owners. The Jets' run game, which the Broncos' Achilles heel is kind of like the run defense, but man, we didn't see it happen that bad. This Jets team, if they can somehow keep the balance, because Sam Darnold isn't going to scare anyone anytime soon. But we did have Robbie Anderson, who has finally been alerted into the league, into the season. 3 catches, but over 100 yards, receiving 2 touchdowns. So he's finally come out to life, who was Josh McCown's #1 target last year. So the Jets find themselves at 2-3, but there was a big win for them. And the Broncos team that looked bad on defense, and there's nothing to sugarcoat. That Broncos team looked very bad. So, good win for the Jets, I'll tell you that right now. Packers at the Lions, and guess what, guys? We had the Lions win this matchup, and they come up and they do win 31-23. Mason Crosby had probably one of the worst games of a veteran kicker in the NFL. It isn't a 1 or 2 year guy who's kind of trying to find his way as a kicker. Mason Crosby's been in the league for over 10 years now. And he went 1 for 5 and missed an extra point as well in the field goal department. That was basically, he left off about 13 points for the Packers, and that could have been the difference in this game, to be honest. But Aaron Rodgers had turnovers, bad turnovers, that put the Detroit Lions in a great field position in the first half, and they dominated, and the Packers tried to claw the way back into it and just couldn't. So that makes really good victories for Matt Patricia now, with the Lions beating the Patriots and the Packers on the resume. So this Detroit Lions team, we don't know how they're going to do. Patricia's more of a defensive guy, so we'll see what's going on. But the Packers, so many questions, so many injuries. We did see Devontae Adams with 9 catches, 140 yards, and a touchdown. But outside of that, they have a lot of new names coming in here. They might get Randall Cobb back next game, so for Monday Night Football against the 49ers. So hopefully they come back with a resurgence for this Packers offense, because right now it's been a little bit MIA. And the defense, we all know they've always had, for the last 4 or 5 years now, a ho-hum defense. So Lions get the victory over the Green Bay Packers in a divisional battle. Giants and the Panthers. We had the Panthers win this game, and they did win this game by a score of 33-31. Graham Cano with a game-winning 63-yard field goal to win the game after being down 31-30 when Eli Manning led a nice drive for the Giants to take the lead. This game, it felt like no one wanted to win at first. Carolina had a decent lead. Let the Giants come back in. Eli Manning and the Giants finally, after almost 2 seasons, they had finally scored 30 points or more. And they scored 31, and they still could not get the W. That tells you what kind of season the Giants are having right now. When their offense finally gets clicking, their defense is bad. Now, you had a great game for Saquon Barkley and from Odell Beckham Jr., and you get 31 points. You still lose. The Panthers at the running game, their defense is still pretty good. Panthers might be a tough out, but that was a heartbreaking loss if you're a Giants fan, because a 63-yard at the buzzer to win the game, that doesn't happen too often. But Cano is one of the best kickers in the game, and he proved it right there. Titans at the Bills, and guess what? Titans at the Bills, we picked the Bills to beat the Titans, and it happened. Our score for that game, we said the Bills were going to win 17-15. The Bills wound up winning 13-12. And defensive battle, the Titans. Everyone wants to talk about all the Titans. We're one of the best teams in the league. Why don't we get recognized for it? It's because you guys lose to the Buffalo Bills as well. You guys mess around and beat the Jaguars team who wasn't really that great on offense. It just varies from week to week. You beat a suspect Jags team, Jags offense, and then you finally lose to a Buffalo Bills team. So that tells you why people don't give the Titans that much credit. But credit to the Buffalo Bills, because this team is down and out, but Josh Allen is somehow finding another way to win a game. They're now 2-3, which looked like a very dismal season was beginning to brew for the Bills. And there have been rumors now that Sean McCoy may be going to Philadelphia. He knows this team isn't going to the playoffs. He knows this team isn't really good. So they might trade LaShawn McCoy, maybe get a pick back for it. So I don't know. But LaShawn McCoy actually had a really good game, over 100 yards of total offense. And they needed that. This Bills team is desperate to find any kind of playmaker besides Clay and and their running back situation with McCoy. So good win for the Bills, for the fans to see as well. Game-winning field goal to end the game. So Titans got a lot of questions, man. Their offense looked good against the Eagles and the Jaguars, but now you mess around and lose to a Bills team that shouldn't have beat you guys. So next game, Falcons at the Steelers. We chose the Steelers to beat the Falcons, and this was a blowout in the second half. It was pretty close in the first half, but the Steelers winning 41-17. Big Ben and Antonio Brown have found their connection again. Antonio Brown over 100 yards receiving, 5 catches, 2 touchdowns. So this team and John Connor, 130 yards rushing, and he look. They don't need Le'Veon Bell because Le'Veon Bell's a running back. I've been saying that. He's not a glue guy, as in like running backs aren't really that much needed. It has to be a big, huge discrepancy between running backs. And it's shown that if they can just get things going and get things acclimated against a very bad Atlanta Falcons defense at that point, we kind of figured Pittsburgh score points. We thought Atlanta would kind of score points, so we put them on the road, not on turf. So very tough loss for the Falcons as they go to 1-4. The Steelers are now 2-1. It's kind of weird the record right now, but Steelers get a big victory over the Atlanta Falcons, and they stay trying to get over this AFC North situation going on. Speaking of North, keep it right there. We have the Baltimore Ravens against the Cleveland Browns, staying in the AFC North, and the AFC North Cleveland Browns getting not their first but their second victory of the season. Who thought that would happen? I did. Baker Mayfield is coming in. They win by a score of 12-9 in overtime, and field goal kicking throughout the whole entire league has been abysmal ever since the league made the point after touchdown to 33 yards, which was a good thing in my opinion. Kicking has gone just plummeting down. You got to have a very special kicker in this game now, to make great decisions when it comes out to your kicking. Pretty much. The Browns struggled mightily with field goal kickers today. We all know that Justin Tucker is the greatest kicker for the Ravens. He's the greatest kicker in the NFL. We know that. But opposite the Browns, they had kicking problems. Baker Mayfield led this team not only throughout the whole entire game, but in overtime. Bad field position hurt Baker Mayfield as well. But at the end, they gave the ball to him and he made plays happen. Baker Mayfield is the truth. He is going to be the starting quarterback for the Browns for a very long time. Mark my words. They win 12-9. They go to 2-1, something like that as well. So what a great victory for the Cleveland Browns and a bad loss for the Ravens, who are trying to keep pace with this next AFC North team. The Miami Dolphins visit the Cincinnati Bengals, with the Bengals winning 27-17. It was a close game throughout basically the first 2.5 quarters. The Bengals finally showed the dominance on defense by not scoring 1 but 2 defensive touchdowns. Ryan Tannehill and company, after winning their first 3 games, they lost 2 in a row, and they look like the team that we thought they were going to be, just not so good. But back-to-back road games against the Patriots and the Bengals, who could be the best 2 teams in the AFC, maybe. So nothing to be too mad at, but you want to be competitive. and they didn't show any kind of competitiveness at all. AJ Green with 70 plus yards, 4 catches. So this team is going to be all right. Andy Dalton and the Bengals will be fine. I think they are one of the better AFC teams, even though the AFC is kind of weaker than the NFC. But talking about the top dogs, the AFC North is going to be a battle. Maybe the Steelers get back on track, but the Bengals are holding it down. And the Ravens are always going to be there. Oh, and let's not forget about the Cleveland Browns and their resurgence of Baker Mayfield. This is going to be a very good division toward the end. So the Bengals do win 27-17 over Miami Dolphins. Next on the docket is the Jaguars and the Chiefs. We picked the Jaguars to win this game, and it did not happen. Our first loss. We get the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Jaguars by a score of 30-14. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I had faith in Patrick Mahommes, and now I am a pure 100% believer in this guy. The Jaguars is about the best defense you're going to see all year, and he was calm. He kept his composure, and he was amazing. He was amazing. This team is scary. They're just like the Rams. They're scary. They have offense everywhere, and against the Jaguars defense that is just very, very, very good at everything they do. The Chiefs play for play, kept it with them, and of course the defense can play as well. This defense, they get you in third and long, the Kansas City Chiefs defense, they're going to get a sack or put the quarterback in a very bad situation. I like what they brought to this game. The home crowd was roaring, and the Chiefs fed off of that. And Patrick Mahommes and company, they're 5-0 now and looking even better. I can't wait for them to face the Rams when they do face the Rams for that Monday Night Football somewhere in November. Hopefully they might still be undefeated. Maybe that'll be just talk around town. But great game nonetheless by the Kansas City Chiefs. They win 30-14. The Jaguars are just struggling on offense. No Leonard Fournette, and they face the Cowboys next week, and won't see Leonard Fournette either for that game. So hopefully the Jacksonville Jaguars get together, but the Kansas City Chiefs are rolling at 5-0, looking to make it 6-0 next week. So let's go ahead and get the Raiders at the Chargers. We picked the Chargers to win this game, and they did come out and win by a score of 26-10. John Gruden, is he on the hot seat already? Look, it's too early to say yes. I'm not going to say yes because you gave him a 10-year deal. We all know you weren't going to win the Super Bowl this year anyway, so it's all about getting better. But my thing is, you gave away Khalil Mack. That's a no-no. They had a chance on a first and goal at the 1-yard line to run the ball with Marshawn Lynch. Just like the Seattle Seahawks did in the Super Bowl, they decide to not run the ball and throw it and an interception. But Derek Carr has to be smart in the way. The last couple of games he's lost for them himself. He's just not as good as I or John Gruden thought he would be. And of course, if you're a John Gruden guy, why not run the ball on first and goal anyways? You saw Marshall Lynch's frustration. The Chargers, yes, are a better team than the Raiders, but the Chargers play every game on the road. Even when they're at home, there are more Raider fans than Charger fans at the game. And the Raiders could not feed off their energy. Los Angeles goes to, I believe, 3-2, and the Raiders are stuck at 1-4. John Gruden's not in the hot seat, but my friend, if they go out to a bad start next year with a bad record from this year, he would definitely be on the hot seat for sure. So they're probably trying to save him when they go to Las Vegas. He might get 3 years on his deal if everything goes well. But if he doesn't get things done after year 3 in Las Vegas in 2020, yeah, the Raiders are going to be looking to get a new head coach. I can guarantee you guys that. So the Chargers win 26-10, the Los Angeles Chargers. The Vikings at the Eagles is probably the game of the week pretty much, and we had the Eagles win this one. But that did not happen. The Minnesota Vikings come up and they win 23-21 in a tight battle. The Vikings were up the whole entire game pretty much. Big plays on offense, but really big plays on defense. Their defense got challenged the last couple of weeks, and you know that Mike Zimmer was like, I gotta challenge my defense. He's a defensive guy, so you know he preaches defense on a daily basis. They actually came out there now. Is it that their defense is that good? Or maybe the Eagles' offense isn't that good as we expected. Yes, Alshon Jeffrey comes back, makes a difference. Zach Ertz is still doing well, but Carson Wentz, he's fresh off an ACL injury, only into his second game. So, it's going to be kind of tough for the Eagles throughout the whole entire year to get things going. And oh, by the way, Jay Ajayi hurt his knee, tore his ACL. He's out for the season, so that is why they're looking to get a Sean McCoy or someone of the running back variety for this team. It's going to be a tough season for the Eagles. If they cannot get things going, they are now 2-3, and it's going to be tough. But thank God for the NFC least, or the NFC East, that people call it. It's not doing so hot right now. We'll get more into the NFC East in just a minute. But the Vikings do get a big victory. Adam Thielen is just acting a dog along with Stephon Diggs. That's the best tandem of wide receivers in the game right now. And Kirk Cousins having a field day throwing to these two guys. So I'm excited to see what else the Vikings can do for this. The Vikings will do for the rest of the season. Their defense has come back in the par now, so things will get better for the Vikings. I like where they're going. But they win 23-21. Eagles have the chance to win. Too little, too late kind of thing going on. Rams and the Seahawks, we picked the Rams to win by a score of 27-24. Well, they still won by single digits, back 33-31 in Seattle, their first real road test. And I want to know how they would do. Seattle is a gamer. Let's just be real. Seattle is a gamer, but the Rams are just loaded and potent on offense. You lose Cooper Kupp in the game, and you lose like some Robert Woods, and you still keep the ball rolling. Ty Gurley with over 150 yards total offense, 3 touchdowns. He is a beast. This team knows their identity. Sean McVay is just like Sean Payton of old. You know, he is a great mind. And this generation, you need those offensive coaches to come in here and coach your quarterback up and the whole entire system. Put their thoughts in, or they're working to the system and get things rolling. People thought they were crazy when Sean McVay was named head coach. This guy's barely 30 years old. I mean, this guy, he comes around, he changes not only Jared Goff, but the Los Angeles Rams franchise. Now they're a very, very good team. No matter what, you lose Brandon Cooks as well, and they just keep the ball rolling. So I'm very excited to see this Rams team. I am finally a believer of the Rams offense. I am. Their defense, they're not the most balanced team yet, but we haven't really figured out who's the most balanced team as of yet. It's only 5 weeks into the season. Come week 7, week 8, week 9, we'll know who is the best team in the league by that time. So Rams get it 33-31. The Seahawks did well. Chris Carson over 100 yards. Mike Davis. Their running game is pretty good with Russell Wilson doing his thing. They competed from start to finish. There were 6 lead changes in the game. You don't really hear that in NFL games. 6 lead changes? That is crazy. So the Rams, hey, 4th and 1 on their own 40-yard line. You don't get it, you lose the game. Sean McVay is an offensive-minded coach. Let's get it with the best offense in the league. They run the ball with Jared Goff for quarterback sneak, get the first down, game is over. We'll talk about a similar situation in just a minute. So let's go to the rest of our games now. We have the Cardinals and the 49ers. And this is basically the game that no one really cared about. No one cares less about the Cardinals and the 49ers. It's just, you know, the 49ers lose Jimmy Garoppolo, and now their steam is gone. It's, you know, it's no more of, oh, well, we have a chance to be decent this year. CJ Beathard comes in there and he had a decent game, but the 49ers offense just isn't the same without Jimmy Garoppolo, and I don't think they really were that good with him anyways. But we had Matt Breida, who's still doing well for himself, playing, but the Cardinals and Josh Rosen comes in and he's looking decent. He's looking pretty good. I'm very excited about Josh Rosen's ability to extend plays and to throw the deep ball, something that they hadn't had in a while. So I'm happy to see that the Cardinals actually got a win. Their defense looked pretty good in this game as well, shutting down the 49ers and getting all kind of turnovers. They had 4 turnovers. They caused 4 turnovers in this game. So the Cardinals get another victory that makes the first one for the season. Not another one, but they makes their first victory of the season. They finally get off the schneid. There are no more defeated teams, no more teams that have 0 wins. They're done with. The Cardinals finally get a win. Everyone has a win now in the NFL. So the 49ers is going to be a tough year for them. They might end up in the top 10 again for the draft next year. We'll see. Let's go on to our Sunday night football game. The Dallas Cowboys visit the Houston Texans. It is basically Texas versus Texas. Everyone was talking about this. They're all buzzed. Deshaun Watson against Dak Prescott. And this game was about none of these guys. It was about the defense from both sides. The Cowboys defense, they're fast. Jalen Smith is going to be a star. Their defense is good. The Texans, we know about Clowney and we know about J.J. Watt. Those guys are good. they made both teams look like pedestrians, and I love a team that bends but doesn't break in the red zone, and both teams did that in this game. The Texans defense and the Cowboys defense have just been absolutely really good in this particular game. We know about that, especially the Dallas defense been good all year. Offense has just been here's the difference. The Texans have DeAndre Hopkins, and the Cowboys don't. DeAndre Hopkins was a difference maker. You're just in this particular game, you're one big play from winning, and DeAndre Hopkins got him with that Madden spin button times 2 50-yard reception to basically put the Texans in field goal range for a game winner in overtime. Another game that's going to overtime, and they win 19-16. Houston Texans. We had the Texans actually winning this game. We actually had the Bengals winning their game. I don't know if I said that. We had the 49ers beating the Cardinals, but the 49ers lost that. And that's why the last game, the Washington Redskins visit the New Orleans Saints. And we all knew that Drew Brees was just 201 yards away from passing up Peyton Manning on the all-time passing yardage list in a career. He got that in the first half. Over 200. He had 250 yards in the first half. Passed up with a 62-yard ball to Traquan Smith. That was just amazing, amazing feeling. If you're not human if you didn't feel some kind of emotion from that scene. If you haven't seen that scene, I suggest you go on YouTube and look it up, check it out. But he breaks the record in fashion with a 62-yard touchdown. Passed up Brett Favre earlier in that second quarter. Passes up Peyton Manning in the end of the second quarter, and they go and win in a rout over the Redskins by a score of 43-19. You just did not see that coming. If you're anyone outside New Orleans. New Orleans has a knack, especially Drew Brees on primetime television. When the record is online, we've seen many so far. He gets it done with a W, a victory. So, man, this is a great feeling for New Orleans franchise and this team. If they can get things clicking, their defense gets back on the road, this team could be scary and could actually be a force in the NFL once again. And I couldn't have told you that after week 1. It looked like it was not going to look good for the season. But the Saints are now 4-1. They're in second place in the NFC, right behind the Los Angeles Rams. Please like and comment down below. We went 12-3 this week after going abysmal for the last. We were 33-28 and 2, and now that bumps our record to 45-31 and 2. Yeah, 45 wins, 31 losses, 2 ties. That's not bad so far. We're only gonna get better. Stay tuned for my next episode. We'll break down week 6. We'll preview week 6, all the good games. So please like and subscribe to Uneducated Sports Talk to see my show. I'm your host, Clayton. Also going to Uneducated Network. Both channels on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. So I'm Clayton. This is Uneducated Sports Talk. All sports fans, you guys know what time it is. Stay smart. Stay uneducated. Peace.